Welcome back to the channel. This is Samilo TV. If you're new here, like, subscribe, do the whole thing. But I wanted to let's just speak a little bit about Liverpool today. I am so impressed by the way Arne has shown up and showed out since he's been in the league. Who would have thought that a guy like this would come on after an icon like Jurgen Klopp leaves, and obviously everyone expected a drop off, a coming to Jesus moment for Liverpool fans who have to understand that their time of being in conversations with the big boys has come to an end. Obviously, no one really thought that they were going to be able to do something this year. They didn't even buy anybody. The Chiesa signing looks like a board assigned signing. And with that being said, they've gone on and done just such an amazing job in the market, in the league and the Champions League. And that's just credit to the job that Arne has done so far. And you got to give credit where credit is due. Obviously, they've just recently walloped Man City in the league 2-0 convincingly. Obviously, I think 2-0 definitely flatters Man City. That could have been a real embarrassing result. But ultimately, if you watch football with your eyes, you know why that was a convincing win. They were always in control. There was never really any danger to that result. So that is the strongest team in Europe, and there is no doubt about it. But today, I just want to react to Arne trying to keep his players, keep the expectation down, and allow everybody, take a little bit of a chill pill. And, he's trying to set a little bit of caution to his team to let them know that they're tougher challenges coming up. Obviously, this article written by Andy Hunter talks about what Arne says about the Everton and Newcastle game. He says that Newcastle and Everton could be trickier games than City and Madrid. So obviously, he's trying to keep his guys focused and keeping their heads on the swivel, knowing that the games you underestimate can be the ones that will derail your season. So you can't do that to Liverpool, to City and Madrid a week ago, and then go on to falter against a Newcastle or Everton team that's in free fall. Personally, I think that they're going to convincingly beat Everton. Newcastle might be more of a challenge, but even that, Newcastle isn't the Newcastle of even just a couple years ago. And we know that Eddie Howe is under a lot of pressure. This game might be tricky because Newcastle has really good players. I really like Gimaresh. I like Isak if he's healthy, and a lot of the wingers like Harvey Barnes and Gordon are really good wingers, but ultimately they're going against a juggernaut in Liverpool, who are just the best team in Europe. And if they show up and play the way they played against Madrid, it might be a long day for Eddie Howe. And you're going to start hearing those murmurings about his sacking come up again. So for the sake of Eddie Howe, I hope that this game isn't the destruction that it could be. So with that being said, Arne goes into a little bit of Arne believes that Liverpool's imperious form has made them a bigger target for the Premier League rivals, and that trip to Newcastle and Everton could be more problematic than the statement wins against Madrid and Manchester City. The Liverpool head coach says it was not difficult for them to show their prowess in beating the champions of Europe last week and of England at Anfield on Sunday. The challenge now is to repeat those performances at St. James Park on Wednesday and Arne Slot's first Merseyside derby at Goodison Park on Saturday. So I'm just going to skip to, he said everything looked, obviously he's trying to say that it's easy, get up for those big games. And, you don't really need any real motivation or any pep talks to get up for Madrid or Manchester City. Because, these guys are juggernauts. But he's trying to say that you're going to have to find that drive to go against these smaller teams that you don't necessarily consider to be big games, but they're still very important games that you need to win. So Arne Slot is out here cooking, you gotta respect it. He doesn't want his guys to go in there thinking that they have an easy game and don't bring their best. He said everyone really looked forward to Real Madrid and Man City, and now we have had it. And that can sometimes lead to feeling it was such a great experience that you want to enjoy it for a few extra days. The Dutchman says, but we don't have that time. We immediately have to show up again in probably one of the most difficult away games that you can have in the season. He's talking about the Newcastle game. That's going to be a challenging game. I expect them to obviously take it seriously because their coach is definitely not playing around. But Newcastle can be tricky, and I'm sure that they know that. But in the form they're in right now, Newcastle might just have to take this L. But everything, both of them, he continues, both of them are away from home. We have shown that at home we're very physically strong, but after 2 wins like this, it is sometimes difficult to show up again and again and again and in an away game. Newcastle won at home against Arsenal, at home against Chelsea in the Carabao, and drew with Manchester City. So maybe it is even more difficult to play Newcastle away than City or Real at home. I'm not talking about quality. I'm talking about how difficult it is to win at St. James Park. So naturally, this man is trying to, get everybody on board. Let them know that this is not one of those games that you're just going to have to show up and expect to win. So, I'm just going to skip to the end. He talks a little bit about the Mo Salah's contract. But one of the things that he talks about that I really thought was interesting was he made a comment about Manchester City 150 charges as relating to Mo Salah's comment about his contract. Mo Salah was asked about, about the game after the Man City defeat, and he talks, Man City win defeat. He talks about, he said that he expects this to be his last year, but and you have to cherish these moments. This could be your last game against Man City. But Arne Slot makes a really fun comment, and that speaks to his comedic timing and his comedic capabilities. He doesn't really strike me as a guy that's funny, but damn, that stuff cracked me up. He said, they said Liverpool coach made a joke at City's expense when asked for a contract update on Mohamed Salah, who said the 2-0 win on Sunday could be his final game against the faltering champions at Anfield. Slot said maybe Mo knows more about the 150 accusation, and then in parentheses it is 130 all denied by City. Yeah, man. Everybody be denying crimes, man. But it said, so expect them not to be in the Premier League next season. I do expect them to be in the Premier League. That's funny. This is not the place for me to talk about Mo's contract. Maybe I've said already too much about the joke I've just made. I think he catches himself. Sometimes you're trying to be a funny guy, but then you realize that your joke may not be received the way you think it would be. Obviously, Pep's gonna have to react to this. You know, everybody's gonna react. I'm reacting to it. So it's gonna be, you know, he's gonna get a little bit of a reaction from the reactionaries out there. But I really like seeing that side of him. A little bit of Jose in there. You know, it sounds like something that even Klopp would do. So I like to see that he has a bit of personality. But he says that so that will probably get the headlines, but it was a joke. I repeat, it was a joke. But it's cool to see, man. I'm really impressed by Liverpool. I expect them that it will continue to put out really good performances. You know, I expect them to take care of Newcastle. Maybe it might be a little tight affair, but Liverpool's quality will show eventually. And by the time they get to Everton, it might be curtains for the league. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about Arne Slot's comment and what he said about the games they have coming up? What do you think about his joke about Mo Salah and Man City's 115 charges? Make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you leave a comment, and I will be back with more